Fall is a time where we harvest, we gather, and we give thanks for all the blessings in our life. And people talk about gratitude all the time, but I think we don't always fully appreciate that it's one of the greatest factors that not only helps us feel more positive, but actually instills positivity in us. It's difficult for me to feel grateful and upset at the same time, and I think much the same can be said for prayer. It's hard to be upset with someone you're praying for. Now, there are times where we look at things happening in the world and it can feel a little overwhelming, and as much as I like to keep my finger on the pulse of things, I think it can be beneficial to step back from the news for a period of time so that we can realign ourselves. One thing I'm noticing, though, that makes me very optimistic is that many people are arranging their family dynamic and returning to a slower, more simple way of life. And I think that's very encouraging. We can't always control what happens in the world, but we can take responsibility for ourselves, our attitude, and our sphere of influence. And we can ask ourselves, what can we focus on that will make us a force for good for ourselves, our families, and our community? What can we create with what's around us? What can we aim for? We can take responsibility for our home environment, or serve our community, or strengthen our relationship with our spouse or our friends. Because sublime change can occur when we turn ourselves to what is noble, honorable, beautiful, and good. It can inspire us and those around us and brings important meaning to our lives. And of course, it's wonderful to have people around our table enjoying good food, creating memories, and moments of joy. Lately, I've been doing a little thinking about traditions and how they add richness to our family life and help preserve our culture and expose us to new ones as well. And the word tradition is such a wonderful word because I think it can bring up some really nice, fond childhood memories of times gone by. And today I want to share with you a Canadian tradition, and this is a vintage recipe that comes from the 1950s for a turnip casserole. And I got this recipe from my friend Rose, who's had this recipe in her family for decades. Now, this is typically enjoyed at Thanksgiving or at Christmas, but you can have it anytime, and it is the most delicious way to enjoy turnips, and it comes together so easy and so quick. It's called Turnip Puff, and I'll show you how to make it. First, wash and peel your turnips. You'll need about 6 cups altogether, so depending on how big the turnips are, you may need 5 or 6 of them. These ones are really big, so I only needed 3. Then we just slice them up into chunks and boil them about 10 minutes or so until they're tender. After they're cooked, we drain the water off and return them to the pot and mash them up well. Next, we'll add some salt, pepper, a bit of melted butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, and the magic ingredient is a teaspoon of baking powder, which is going to make it puff up nicely. Next, a couple of beaten eggs and a sprinkle of nutmeg. Now we give it a mix to combine everything together. Pour the mixture into an 8-inch buttered casserole dish and smooth it out. Lastly, we'll top it off with a crunchy topping with half a cup of seasoned breadcrumbs and a couple tablespoons of butter. Bake it at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. This is how it looks when it's all done, and this is the perfect side dish for your fall table. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to you for being such an inspiration in my life, and I can't possibly thank you enough. And it's so wonderful that we're sharing in our journey together. Take care, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.